Hey, it's Clint. Welcome to Sweetcast. Here's a question for you. Is Kickstarter trash? Now, there are a lot of people that hate Kickstarter for a number of reasons. I've had some personal experiences with Kickstarter because I did launch my own Kickstarter campaign that failed quite miserably. I've also have had experiences, obviously, with Indiegogo launching my campaign Downcast, and it was a great experience. Now, things are a little bit more complicated than this. You have probably heard, or maybe you have the opinion, that Kickstarter is not for you, especially if you want to make a comic. One of the big reasons behind this is that Kickstarter does have ideological reasons to promote certain books over other books. And you could browse through comics, or really any project for that matter, in Kickstarter, and the ones that'll end up being staff picks, or the ones that are going to be highlighted and get more promotion from Kickstarter itself, are going to be the campaigns that politically align and are very loud and virtue signally. Is signally a word? They're really flamboyant about their political opinions and that they align with Kickstarter's political beliefs. Those campaigns are surefire hits. Not that they necessarily make tons of money, but they get backed by Kickstarter. Kickstarter ensures that they do well. And I think this is actually a self-fulfilling cycle. That's why you get more of these woke campaigns through Kickstarter, because they're hoping for this bump. Famously, if you've been following your boy Zach, also known as Richard Meyer, he launched a comic book on Kickstarter, and Kickstarter did not like him for his political beliefs and the things that he has said on Twitter and on his YouTube channel. So they discouraged him. I don't know exactly how it went down, but basically they did not let him launch his book on Kickstarter. This is where things went beyond, and they took a step, I think, that was not fair. And it really is highlighted that it wasn't fair because he was able to take his books to Indiegogo and launch them there and be very, very successful, and it didn't affect the company whatsoever, besides actually making them a lot of money. Now, there are some other reasons why you might choose Indiegogo over Kickstarter, even if ideology has nothing to do with it. One is that Indiegogo actually lets you keep a larger percentage of your money. Kickstarter is going to take a little bit more of that for themselves. And last but not least, it could be just the whole setup of the program, setting up your campaign, also how backers are able to get in and look at your campaign. And there are slightly different cultures surrounding each kind of crowdfunding site. So things are different. And again, if ideology had nothing else to do with it, there could be personal preferences why you'd use one or the other. If I missed any reasons, please let me know in the comments below. I appreciate that. And don't forget to hit like. But this raises another question, and that is, why not use both Kickstarter and Indiegogo? I was watching one of Elliot Fernandez's streams. He was on a walk, and he posed the same question of what is wrong with using both. So I wanted to explore that a little bit. Now, generally speaking, crowdfunding is not a marketplace that you go and you bring your product and you put it out there and you hope that people are just going to pass by and love it and buy it and ride off in the sunset. That might happen in some very, very rare instances. I can't really point out one instance where it definitely was the only case that people just saw it and thought it was great and decided to back it, and the person behind the campaign did no work whatsoever besides just putting together the campaign. I don't know that any of this is true, but in theory, you could make the perfect campaign and it would just go well. But the reality is, for the vast majority of people, you're actually going to be bringing your own crowd to crowdfunding. Now, the analytics get a little messy here because it's hard to know what number of people just happened upon your book and they had no predisposition to backing it. They just saw it on Indiegogo and they decided that they'd throw some support behind it. There are some analytics for sure on Indiegogo and on Kickstarter for that matter that let you know who was sent there and backed your book by clicking on one of the special links that you're provided, versus how many people were already in Indiegogo or Kickstarter and just browsed for your book. The reality is that the number of people browsing for your book is even smaller because sometimes you actually genuinely did bring your crowd there to Indiegogo. It's just that they didn't follow your link. They specifically looked up Indiegogo and they searched for your book and they found it and they backed it. They wouldn't have done this unless you already pointed them in that direction. However, I can tell you that there is some number of people that you're going to pick up that just genuinely stumble upon your book and think it looks nice. I had that failed Kickstarter campaign for my card game, And something I found is that a lot of people that actually found it on Kickstarter found it because they happened to be browsing, they thought the game looked cool, and so they just backed it. So we're going to look at a case study here. This is really recent, and it's the same campaign. So I think it's checking off a couple of our checkboxes. Jason Brubaker already has a crowd. He's done crowdfunding for quite a long time. Most of the crowdfunding he's done has been on Kickstarter, and this was his first foray into Indiegogo. Let's compare the two. So first, his Indiegogo campaign for Sithra 5 and 6, he had $88,951, almost $89,000, with 847 backers. That is a lot of money. That's pretty good for Indiegogo, nothing to sneeze about, though I'm going to point out that Downcast actually has more backers. How's that for amazing? Now, I went into some of his live streams as he was first announcing this and promoting it, and there were people that said they didn't like Indiegogo. They thought it was a scam site or whatever. They had a whole bunch of reasons why they didn't like it, and they wanted him to go back to Kickstarter. So he said that he would launch a Kickstarter as well that would supplement the campaign here. So he sent primarily most people to Indiegogo, but he did make his Kickstarter live for people that just wanted to go through the different platform. How many people did he get in comparison? Well, he got $10,000. $10,000 with 146 backers. This actually makes his total backer number higher than what I had for Downcast, and it also makes him $10,000 richer. Now, if he refused to launch the second campaign on Kickstarter, would his numbers be the same? Would they change any at all? Would he be $10,000 poorer, or would these people have broken down and just gone to Indiegogo to back his campaign? I don't know. There's not enough information here. This is not a great, perfect case study for us to know what the truth is. So the question is something like this worth pursuing? Is the ideological motivation that Kickstarter has, is that deterrent enough that it's not worth trying to take some money from them and their audience? I don't know. Is it worth the extra effort to build two campaigns? I don't know. I can tell you if I got $10,000 more, it probably wouldn't be that much because it'd be a percentage that's equal. But if I had, roughly speaking, 146 more backers, because we actually have really similar backer numbers on our Indiegogo campaigns, if I had that many more backers, I would be pretty happy. Would this give Kickstarter employees, the big evil Kickstarter men that are running the show, would this put money in their pockets? Yeah, it would. It would pay them a percentage of whatever it is that you're making. On the other hand, are you also making money off of Kickstarter? Yeah, assuming they don't kick you out and ban you from their platform, even if they're not promoting your book whatsoever, technically you'd be catching at least some people that just happen to be passing by on Kickstarter. Everything that I've read on the topic on the internet, everybody has said just pick up one platform and go for it, because really you're just sending your audience there to back. You're not there to find new people. The reality is you are still finding a small percentage of new people that would probably not have seen your book otherwise. This sort of broadens the question a little bit. I get this comment a lot. People ask me, are you ever going to have Downcast available through the direct market? Are you going to find ways to make reprints that are cheaper so people can just read the book at non-crowdfunded prices? I hear you. I think that's a good point. That's a valid concern, because in order for all of this to be sustainable, you have to be able to meet backers or, customers, readers. You got to meet them in the middle somewhere and make prices reasonable. If $5 books are a problem at a comic book shop, or $6 books, then $25 books, or in my case, a $15 book, is definitely a bigger ask. Obviously, I try to make that worth it by giving more value for what it is that you're backing, but it's still a consideration. So I'd be really interested to know what you think on the matter. Is it worth trying to do Indiegogo as your primary campaign and then milking off as many readers as you can from Kickstarter to supplement what you're doing and to just grow your readership? Is that a good idea? Or is there something inherently evil and wrong with that? Same goes for getting a publisher, like later down the road, or reprinting your book and distributing it through Diamond, right? Diamond has a lot of problems. Is there something inherently wrong with that we should be avoiding? I don't know the answer to all these questions, but I really, really appreciate that Elliot brought it up, because it's worth talking about. We got to be innovative and look at, any way you can to be selling books. But I'd love to know what you think. Also, why not check out Elliot Fernandez's campaign, Doom Kicker? He's been a really good guy, and he really is a really fantastic artist. 2 more campaign updates I want to show you real quick. Thrilling Comics is live on Indiegogo. This is a campaign that I am not running. David Furr is. I had him on a stream just last night, and I was able to write the Silver Streak story in this book. I love this cover right here. Both covers are really nice, actually. So I wrote a story in here. It's a 24-page story just for me. Chuck Dixon also wrote a 24-page story, and David Furr wrote a 24-page story. So you're getting a 72-page book. It's essentially 3 one-shots all in one book, and it's for $20. So how is that for value? If you're interested in checking this out, I put it in the link in the description below. And just so you know, Downcast is ending really soon. We passed $31,000 and 905 backers. Really, really appreciate everybody that supported me on this. We're right around 80% finished with the interior art pages. And so this is probably going to close at the end of the month. So thanks everybody. Really appreciate it. Figuring all this crowdfunding stuff out has been fun and stressful, and it's only worth it because you are willing to support it. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.